Now we are taking the second chapter of the mechanics of solids and fluids, that is mechanical properties of fluids. In that, it starts with Archimedes' principle, and according to the, if a body is immersed totally or partially in fluid, it appears to lose some weight. It appears the apparent, because this is not actual, the apparent loss of weight is equal to the weight of the displaced fluid. So this is the Archimedes principle. The next is a body shall float in liquid. The floating is only possible if the weight of the displaced liquid is equal to the weight of the body itself. So this is the condition of floating. The next is the pressure that is exerted by air of atmosphere is called atmospheric pressure, and this is given by, P stands here for pressure, it is equal to rho hg, where rho is the density and h is the height of the atmospheric air and g is the acceleration due to gravity. The next is according to Newton's law of viscous flow, the force is equal to minus neta A dV by dx. Here, minus sign mentions here that there is a viscous flow is basically a flow that is being resisted because of the force of friction. So that is why minus sign is here. A is the area of the liquid layer, dV by dx is the velocity gradient, and F is the viscous drag. Neta is the coefficient of viscosity here. Now, the next point is about the Poisson's equation, and according to that, for the flow of liquid through a capillary tube is given by the relation V, that is for the volume, is equal to pi p r to the power 4 divided by 8 neta into L, where V, this one is the volume of the fluid flowing out of the capillary tube per unit time. P is the pressure difference across the two ends of the capillary. R is the radius of the capillary tube and L is the length of the capillary tube. The next is about the Stokes law, and according to it, F is equal to 6 pi neta RV, where F is the viscous drag acting on a body in a viscous medium. Neta is the coefficient of viscosity of the medium, R is the radius, and V is the velocity of that body. The next is about a very important Bernoulli's theorem, and according to it, the sum of the kinetic energy, potential energy, and the pressure energy of an ideal liquid is a constant quantity. Next point is about the surface tension of a liquid. It is the force of tension acting across a unit length of an imaginary line drawn in the free surface of liquid at rest, the force being perpendicular to the line and the tangential to the surface. The next important thing is that the surface tension of a liquid is numerically, not by the unit way, it is numerically equal to its surface energy. The next is about the capillary rise in the tube, and the formula for the rise of the liquid in a capillary tube of radius r is given by H is equal to 2 sigma cos theta divided by r rho g minus r by 3, where sigma is the surface tension of the liquid, theta is the angle of contact, and rho is the density of the liquid that have been taken. Here, if the capillary tube is very narrow, this r can be neglected, the radius can be neglected for a narrow capillary tube, and this formula will reduce to H is equal to 2 sigma cos theta upon r rho g. The next point is about the capillary tube rise if it is insufficient in length. If a capillary tube is of insufficient length, then what will happen? The liquid rises to the top of the capillary tube and spreads itself on the material of the tube. Now the radius of curvature adjusts itself in such a way that RH, product of R and H, is equal to R dash H dash, where R is the radius of the curvature of the liquid meniscus in a capillary tube of sufficient length, and H is the height to which a liquid rises in the capillary tube of sufficient length. So this R and H is equal to R dash H dash where R dash and H dash are the corresponding quantities for a capillary tube of insufficient length. The next point is about the surface tension if the liquid is contaminated. If the surface tension of a liquid changes with the contamination of the liquid. If there is contamination, then the surface tension value will change. It decreases. Next important point is that the surface tension decreases with the rise in temperature. The next points are about the excess pressure inside a liquid drop. It is given by P is equal to 2 sigma by R, where sigma is the surface tension and R is the radius of the drop. The excess pressure inside a liquid bubble, here it was a liquid drop, here it is a liquid bubble. It is given by P is equal to 4 sigma by R. Then we are talking about the excess pressure in an air bubble, and it is given by P is equal to 2 sigma by R. The value is same as that of the liquid drop. The next is about the Pascal's law, and according to it, the pressure in a fluid in equilibrium is same everywhere if the effect of gravity is neglected. And the applications of Pascal's law: hydraulic lift, hydraulic brake. Next is about the terminal velocity. It is defined as the constant maximum velocity acquired by a body while falling through a viscous fluid. Next is about the streamline flow. The flow of fluid is said to be streamline or laminar if every particle of the fluid follows exactly the same path with the same velocity of its preceding particle. The next is about the turbulent flow. The flow of a liquid is said to be turbulent or disorder if its velocity is greater than its critical velocity. What is critical velocity? It is the velocity below which the flow is streamlined and above it, it becomes turbulent. This is about the terminal velocity achieved by a ball in a viscous fluid. This is the case when a ball is being put inside a viscous liquid. In that case, the critical velocity is given by 2 rho minus sigma r square g divided by n neta, where rho is the density of the metal ball that is put inside the fluid, sigma is the density of viscous medium in which the ball is being put, r is the radius of the ball, and neta is the coefficient of the viscosity. Now, the first question on the mechanical properties of fluids is: a barometer is constructed using a liquid and the density is being given. What would be the height of the liquid column when a mercury barometer reads 76 centimeter? The density of mercury is given to us, and there are the 4 options mentioned. This question has come in the NEET 2020, and this is on the page number 184 of new NCRT. To solve this question, first write down the things that have been given to us, and in that, the density of the liquid is given to us 760 kg per meter cube. Height of the liquid column, this needs to be calculated. When a mercury barometer reads 76 centimeter, height of the mercury barometer is mentioned 76 centimeters. Since this is in kg per meter cube, to solve it, let us take it in the meter. And the density of mercury is given to us 13600 kg per meter. To solve this, it have been mentioned the barometer is constructed and the height of the liquid is being given. Since pressure is same in both of the cases, so formula for pressure P is equal to H rho G. This is to be taken. Since pressure of liquid is equal to the pressure of mercury, therefore H L rho L and G is equal to height of mercury, density of mercury, G. G cancels out both sides. We need to calculate H, height of the liquid. So it can be written as HM rho m over rho. Height is 0.76 meter. Density of mercury 13600, and the density of this liquid is 760. So on solving this, we get it 13.6 meter. So this is the height of the liquid, 13.6 meter. And if we look at the options, our answer goes with option number B, and the answer for the first is B option. 13.6 meter is the height of the liquid coil. Now is the question number 2. The Venturi meter works on, and these four options have been given. This question has come in the NEET 2023. When we are talking about Venturi meter is for measurement. Venturi meter, it is a device that is used to measure rate of flow of liquid, rate of flow of liquid, or you can say fluid. One more thing is there, it is to be very accurate as it is used in industries. Venturi meter. So when we are talking about the shape of the Venturi meter, its outlet and inlet sections are wide, and in between it is narrow. So this is the type of the shape it is having. The outlet and inlet sections, they are very wide, and in between outlet and inlet it is narrow. So here we have the velocity increase, and with that pressure decreases. So basically it is working on the concept, if velocity is increasing and pressure is decreasing, it is working on the fact that potential energy, kinetic energy, and the pressure energy, that is going to remain constant. Increase in one is going to make decrease in the other, but overall sum is going to remain the same. And this is the statement of Bernoulli's theorem. So without any doubt, the Venturi meter works on the Bernoulli's principle, and the answer for the second is option A. Question number 3. A thin flat circular disc of radius 4.5 centimeter is placed gently over the surface of water. If surface tension of the water is 0.07 Newton per meter, then the excess force required to take it away from the surface is, and these four options have been mentioned. This question has come in the NEET 2024, and it is on the page number 194 of the new NCRT. So this is a formula based numerical. It is simple. The disk radius is 4.5 centimeter. Since options are given in meter Newton, so let us change it in the meter. 4.5 into 10 power minus 2 meter. Tension is being given to us 0.07 Newton per meter. Now the excess force is given by T into 2 pi r. 0.07 into 2 into 3.14 into 4.5 into 10 power minus 2. And on solving this, the value comes out 19.8 meter Newton. So the answer for our numerical is option A, and the answer for the third is A option, 19.8 meter Newton. The fourth question is the amount of energy required to form a soap bubble of radius 2 centimeter from a soap solution is nearly, and these four options have been given. Along with that, surface tension of soap solution is given to us 0.03 Newton per meter. And this question has come in the NEET 2023. Again, it is a formula based simple numerical. We need to find out the energy required to form the soap bubble. And it is equal to 2TA. T is the surface tension and A is the area. A is the area. So the energy required to form soap bubble is 2 into, this is 0.03 into 4 pi, 4 into 3.14, and r square. It is 2 centimeter. We'll convert it in meter. So it will be multiplied by 2 into 10 power minus 2 whole square. 4 pi r square, the formula is being applied, and on solving it, we'll get the value 3.01 into 10 power minus 4 joule. So the result goes with the option B, and the answer for the fourth is option B, 3.01 into 10 power minus 4 joule. This is the question number 5. If a soap bubble expands, the pressure inside the bubble increase, remain the same, is equal to atmospheric pressure, or decreases. This question has come in NEET 2022 and it is on the page number 194 of new NCERT. To solve this question, we'll first see what is the relation. The pressure inside soap bubble is equal to 4 surface tension over radius. So if we see, let pressure is denoted by P and radius is denoted by R. So if we see the relation between the pressure and the radius, it is inversely proportional. It is an inverse proportionality. So if the soap bubble expands, if soap bubble expands, radius increases, and if radius is increased, pressure will decrease. So the answer for this is option D, decreases. The answer for the fifth is D.